G'day everyone, this is Anthony with news from the sea battle for Ukraine. On Monday, March 21st, the Russians announced that one of their ships, the Orsk, docked in the port city of Berdyansk, which is 70 kilometers or 45 miles southwest of the besieged city of Mariupol. The Orsk is a landing ship, which just means it carries huge amounts of military cargo. The Russians have been using Berdyansk to send weapons, fuel, food, and so on to their troops, and the pro-Russian news agency TASS was bragging that the Orsk can carry up to 1,500 tons of cargo.
Well, isn't that special?
Until now, there has been no good news about the naval war in the Sea of Azov. On the battlefront, we've only heard about Russian ships shelling Mariupol, and we've heard about Russians promising to open humanitarian corridors on certain days so good people can leave the war zone, but then the Russians break their own promises. Finally, we have some welcome news. On Thursday, March 24th at 7:45 in the morning, an unknown group of Ukrainian fighters launched an attack against the Orsk. They fired several missiles, and from all the articles I've read, it is extremely difficult to hit a ship with one of these missiles. But in this case, skill and lady luck were with the Ukrainian soldiers, and they scored a direct hit. The most likely weapons the Ukrainian soldiers used were Tochka-U ballistic missiles.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
This really was an incredible long shot. The explosion from the missile created a great number of secondary explosions, with all manner of bullets, rockets, and missiles exploding where they sat. As these weapons ignited, their explosions created this incredible firestorm, and the fire took on a life of its own. And here we see the rockets' red glare and the bombs bursting in air, which gave proof through the night that the Orsk was sort of still there. One thing is certain, Ukraine really is the home of the brave. Hanna Maliar, the Deputy Minister of Defense, confirmed yes, it was destroyed. She told Ukrainian television their military had hit a huge target, which could carry 20 tanks, 45 armored personnel carriers, and 400 troops. She also said Ukrainian soldiers set fire to a nearby fuel tank, which held 3,000 gallons, and that fire spread to other caches of ammunition which were nearby. There were two other Russian landing ships nearby, the Cesar Kunikov and the Novocherkassk. Here we see both ships retreating from the fire as fast as possible. One of these ships is also on fire, the Cesar Kunikov. It is possible that the ship was not the Orsk, but a sister ship, the Saratov. The two ships look so much alike that the ship experts who looked at the video and satellite photos cannot be sure if the damaged ship is the Orsk or the Saratov. And possibly the Ukrainians were using a Bayraktar TB2 drone as their eyes in the sky. The drone would give them coordinates for firing their missiles. These drones have been playing a crucial role in the war, and Ukrainians have used drones to knock out a long list of Russian hardware, including 6 armored fighting vehicles, 10 surface-to-air missiles, 9 helicopters, 24 trucks, jeeps, and assorted vehicles, and 2 fuel trains. The Ukrainians only count vehicles that have video or photographic evidence of the smoking wreckage, so the real numbers are higher.
Підбили, до речі, подарунками від її величності британської королеви, так що передавайте нам такої движухи більше, і буде отаких танків підбитих набагато більше. Люди також просять, але поки що в нас немає можливості роздати кожному українцю по енлову. А хотілося б. Ой, як
Шла колонна, дождались, отработали результаты. Всіх треба, блін. Слава Україні.
This is Selçuk Bayraktar, the inventor of the Bayraktar drone and chief technology officer at Baykar. These drones have proven so effective at knocking out Russian hardware that Taras Borovok, a Ukrainian soldier, actually wrote a song about them.
Зі сходу припхались до нас барани, для восстановлення великої страни, найкращий пастух баранячих отар. Байрактар. Байрактар. Їх доводи всяке озброєння, різне, ракети, потужні машини залізні, у нас на всі доводи є коментар. Байрактар. Bayraktar.
Looking south, the government of Turkey controls access to the Black Sea thanks to the Montreux Convention from 1936. A crew that wants to sail to the Black Sea has to first pass through the Dardanelles Strait and then the Bosphorus Strait. Together we call these the Turkish Straits. The Russian government asked the Turkish government if they could send more warships to the Black Sea. The Turkish leaders said, during a time of war, the answer is no. So the Russians cannot add even one more ship to the number of ships they already have in the Black Sea, and certainly they will be wary about moving their ships close to shore. Here's a photo of the Orsk, or possibly the Saratov, after the missile strike. The ship has settled on the bottom and there is water above the main deck. As to the number of casualties, there was a report from the Ukrainians that 8 sailors were killed on the Cesar Kunikov, with 3 killed and 3 wounded on board the Novocherkassk. There are no reports on the number of dead and wounded on board the Orsk. For those of us who have been paying attention to how Ukrainian fighters have been attacking the Russians, we have seen that Ukrainian fighters quickly developed a reputation for attacking Russian supply vehicles, including field trucks. The Orsk was a supply ship, and it was basically the seagoing version of a huge truck. I leave you with part of a letter written by Union General William Tecumseh Sherman. This is from his letter to James Yeatman, May 1865. I confess without shame that I am tired and sick of war. Its glory is all moonshine. Even success, the most brilliant, is over dead and mangled bodies. It is only those who have not heard a shot nor heard the shrills and groans of the wounded and lacerated, friend or foe, that cry aloud for more blood and more vengeance, more desolation, and so help me God as a man and soldier, I will not strike a foe who stands unarmed and submissive before me, but will say, Go, sin no more. Here is to a swift end of this horrible war and victory for the Ukrainian people. This is Anthony signing off. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give that like button a fist bump. Good night, everyone, and be good to each other.